Well, our senior reporter, Sipa Mandla Goga, has been following the proceedings at the Zondo Commission, and he joins us now. Sipa, thank you so much for joining us. So it's day one. We've got 3 more days to go. Already lots of acknowledgement that things went horribly wrong, as the President said. Did the Commission hear much about accountability and who specifically is to blame for these system failures around Cadre deployment and factionalism?
The answer is no. Basically, the President did not provide any accountability. It was all about, acknowledging that things went horribly wrong. It seems as if the President has taken a posture which says, yes, things went horribly wrong, but let's move away from that now. Let's see how we fix it. It seems as if there is no willingness to take accountability. Who should be accountable for the mess that has happened? He came here, gave that opening statement, those opening remarks, which some people say it was more like a State of the Nation or January 8th statement of the ANC. It was just a political speech in the way, quoting ANC resolutions, ANC commitments and all the stuff, but not getting into the gist of why this commission has called the ANC as the governing party to come and testify, because it's the governing party that is accused of deploying its cadres to key strategic state-owned enterprises, and that's where the mess has been witnessed, whether ESCOM, SAA, Denel, PRASA and others. So today ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa treading carefully, but some people would say, well, it was to be expected because he was not going to throw his comrades under the bus. He's trying to protect the image of the ANC at the expense of really outlining who should be held accountable for this. At the end of the day, his critics will argue that as the president of the governing party, together with his collective, because the ANC subscribes to the notion of this collective responsibility doctrine, that the party needs to take accountability for what has happened. But today he was very vague and very generic, just trying to say, well, some of the things happened long before I became the deputy president. We took some time to notice what was happening. If I were to make an example here, he cited that it was only in 2011 when Fikile Mbalula, the NEC member of the ANC, spoke about the influence of the Guptas and the Gupta family during that NEC meeting. But after that, ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa saying nothing much happened after those revelations by Fikile Mbalula. But towards the end, I think what was important that emerged out of today, which I can say was the highlight, is when he was asked about why the ANC continued to accept funding and donations from Bosasa, a very controversial company which donated to the ANC for its election work and the elections war room. And he did concede that it shouldn't have happened, but the context when he was asked that question was to say, yes, Bosasa donated to the ANC. You claim that you didn't know about some of the things, but the media had been reporting extensively about the shenanigans at Bosasa. He says, well, the ANC should have been more careful about that. Let's listen to what he said on that front.
So the transparency, the openness, for me, is the biggest savior. And also the limitation to the amount that should be given, because the limitation of the amount that should be given is going to stop any entity being able to have an overarching control over a political party. But in this case, it did happen. And there's no way of running away from it or even hiding it, because it did happen. That company, Bosasa, had contract with government, and it funded an ANC election room and all that. I would say, having happened, unless there's something criminal about it, which should be pursued following the investigation by the Commission, we should now say, how do we make sure that we move to a new situation where we do not have a capture of that type.
Sipa, of course, the focus on Bosasa and the Watson family, of course, who own Bosasa. That's one big family that comes up. Their name comes up all the time. But, of course, so does the Gupta family. And we heard Norma Ngoma speaking about her estranged husband, Malusi Gigaba, while he was Minister of Public Enterprises, going, by her account, under oath, going to the Saxonwold home and just receiving bags and bags of cash. We did hear the President say that those found guilty of corruption within the party, those found, I presume, to have taken bribes, must be held accountable. But also another important acknowledgement that the factionalism within the party, and it's clear to see that factionalism. We have the President prepared to appear and the former President refusing to appear. But Ramaphosa saying today factionalism messed the balance of power to such a state that, in a way, the party was unable to act according to its principles. Tell us more about the importance of that statement.
Factionalism here, as well as patronage, saying how that has destroyed the ANC in the context of these deployments to key strategic entities in government, saying some people have seen those as tools and platforms for them to enrich themselves and their factions within the ANC, representing different agendas and interests, whether business or political interests here. The ANC president conceding that, yes, factionalism is rife in the ANC and that can be located within the context of the ANC having different factions, and as a result it's difficult sometimes to act on certain decisions here, saying factionalism is continuing to affect the party. But at the center is the issue of resources also. You know, if you mention that point about factionalism here, I know that someone inside that was saying, even if you look at the composition of the team that accompanied the president, some people claim that it's those who are politically aligned to the president within the ANC. As you've alluded, that former President Jacob Zuma's stance is publicly known when it comes to the Zondo Commission here. So the ANC president was saying that continues to affect the party, but also going at length explaining how the issue of political party funding has been a problem before this act that deals with political party funding came into effect in April. So he had a lot to say in that regard. Perhaps let's listen to what he said.
It is due to the deployment committee that today in government, over and over now, we have balanced boards of directors, we've balanced, even in the state, we're seeking to balance that. It's a matter of concern, for instance, to the deployment committee that the Director General cohort that we have is largely male. So the deployment committee will intervene and say to those deployed in government, you've got an overabundance of men in key positions. We need to see a balance. And so the deployment committee drives that. So that is why I would say, yes, we shouldn't just tilt the pendulum one way. It should be balanced, and it should never be because someone is close to the ANC. We should appoint people who are close to South Africa, who are South Africans, who've got the loyalty and the patriotism, but who are also professional, who we are sure have a developmental type of approach to doing things, and who would be willing to promote the ideals that the ANC, or the agenda and the mandate that the ANC was elected for.
All right, so Sipamandla, this is day one, days 1 and 2 this week, of course, really focusing on Cyril Ramaphosa's role within the party. Then the 2 days in May are going to be very much more focusing on his role in government. What are you expecting to hear tomorrow that we didn't hear about today?
Well, to be honest, I don't know, because I think what will happen tomorrow is that he will continue to be asked, you know, about what he knew or what he knows, and whatever transpired tomorrow really, remember, you don't have much time because tomorrow is his last day. So we expect that tomorrow he will continue to basically take the posture that he took today, particularly when it comes to the issue of cadre deployment policy and the deployment committee of the ANC, which he was the chairperson of when he was the deputy president of the governing party. So we also know that when it comes to those dates that were set up earlier, the 13th and 14th of May, it's not going to happen anymore. He's not coming back on those dates as the former Deputy President of the Republic and as the President of the Republic, but Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo saying they will liaise with the Office of the President because they need to push those dates further. He will now appear towards the end of May, and that's when we can expect at least to have some more meat in this regard, because today there was nothing much, and we don't think that there will be much tomorrow. But perhaps he did say inside the commission there that he would save some of the things for him when he comes back to testify as the former deputy president as well as the current president. Maybe towards the end of May we'll be getting more.
Well, thank you so much. That was eNCA Siphamandla Goge. Let's